Hi everyone. So in this video I want to show you how to go from this basic model to this slightly more advanced model, right? And so hopefully it'll be relatively straightforward. If you haven't already made this model, then obviously we can't move forward, so go back and watch the last video and see how you get on with that. And then come back and do this one. So we'll be moving from the really simple or relatively simple things in terms of embellishments to some slightly more advanced things. So if at any point you're like, okay, this is far enough for me, then that's okay. You can just stop wherever it is you feel comfortable. If you've got, the basic model made and you just make even a few alterations to it to make it your own, then that's totally fine. So let's start with the most fun one, or maybe with the most fun one, which is adding your own image to it, right? And so how do you do that? Well, let me show you. It's pretty straightforward. So we're going to start here with our model, and we're going to go over to these three bars in the top right-hand corner, left-hand corner, sorry, and we're going to go import from my device. Now, before you do this, you have to have downloaded the image that you want. Preferably a black and white image, and I've already downloaded this. It's this thing here. We'll just go open. Right now, when you import it, you've got some options. You can either import it as a material or as an image. What we're going to use is an image. So choose image, and then you can just drop it wherever you want to drop it. So let's say there, and then you can change the size of it to the size that you want. For me, in this case, maybe not too big. And then let's see if we can move it to be sort of in the middle, let's say like that, right? And obviously this is just my one that I chose. You can choose whatever image that you want, so long as obviously is that it's appropriate for school. Right, so there we go. So there we've added an image. You can add images to other parts of your stool, of course, but in the real world, we'll only be able to laser cut the maximum of one surface. Otherwise, it just takes way too long. So there we go. That's that part. Right. So then, let's see. How do we create these chamfers on our aprons? Well, let's go over back to our model, and we're going to work on this surface here, or this apron here. Double click on it to get inside of the model itself of the apron, and so you can tell that you're inside of the group by the fact that you can select individual elements of the model, and then you can just draw a line. So I'm going to make this one slightly different. Let's say like that, or if you want to do a 45-degree line chamfer, then you can do this. And if you just kind of move along here, you'll see that it snaps to this corner here, or this split place here, and that's where it's at 45 degrees. So let's do that for today. So there we go. There's our 45-degree chamfer, and then now all we need to do is use the push-pull tool to just push this back to delete that part of the object. Right, now what if we want to do that on the other side as well, right? And we want it to be nice and even. Well, we're going to use our line tool again, and this time we're going to hover over here until it creates a sort of, just hover over there for a little bit, and then you should be able to move across and see how there's that dotted line there. That means that it's perfectly in line with that along the red axis. We can go there again, and then again we just move across here until we find the 45-degree angle, which we are not finding. That's interesting. So what I'm going to do is, since that's not snapping, I don't want to just guess at it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to click over here so that I remember where this is. And now I'm just going to measure it. So what is the height of that? Well, that's 31 mils. So what I want to do now is I want to use my my measuring tape, and I'm going to move in here and just type in 31. There we go. And so now I can draw this line from this corner to that corner, and I can get rid of that. There we go, and I'll push that in. like that. Right, and so now I've got some nice chamfers. Right, so that is a pretty basic, and you can do that to other parts of the model. Let me show you on the top now. How do we create rounded, what are called fillets? So what if we wanted to round this over, which I think some students have already done in their actual model. So again, let's say we want it to be nice and accurate. Let's measure from here over to here, like 20 mils. And then we will start with our 2-point arc. And if we do this, we should be able to... Oh, that's not working. Exciting. Let me show you how it works with if you don't have the that mark there. So you should be able to just do this. So, just go to some area here, click there once, and then see how that's blue? That means it's on the edge. And then we should be able to find where... Oh, there we go there. See that? Once it turns that pink color, it's tangent to the edge. So that's sort of perfectly in the right place. And then we could do the same thing on the other side. So I'll just snap to that point there and then go over here. Hopefully that'll line up. Ooh, it's not lining up. There we go, that's better. And now... Oh goodness, this really isn't working very well. Well, let's see. Well, we'll just do that. Right, it's not perfect, but if you wanted to do this perfectly, you would just measure to make sure that the measurements were the same. But we want to move on, so let's just move on. So here we go. Now we can push and pull this back. Oh, you see? Now this is why this didn't work. So this, I wasn't actually inside, I made a mistake, I wasn't actually inside of this group. Right, so now, what do we do now? We have to do the job all over again? Actually, not really. So I'm going to delete this one, because that one didn't work, or at least it isn't very accurate. But this one, we know that that's actually good. So let's keep that one. We're going to go Control-X to delete it, and then we're going to go inside of the group, and this time we're going to right-click and choose Paste in Place. So again, you just right-click anywhere on the screen and choose Paste in Place. And so it's going to paste it exactly where it was before, like that. Right, so now we can select that piece. Right, now let's see if this works this time. So if I've got that endpoint there, I move all the way across here. And now, let's see. Can I get this to work? Ugh, still not. Maybe I didn't go far enough. No, okay, we'll just do a kind of Fako version of it. That'll do. Right, and so then we can now push this piece in and go back all the way over here and push this in as well. Right, so that's chamfers and fillets. Right, so now, oh, by the way, we've only done this to one side, so we want to do it to both sides. For this, I'll do that later on, but for this, I'll show you how to do that. I think we've done this already. I'll delete the old version and then just use the rotate tool like that, and then we go to, let's say, this corner here. We rotate it all the way around. Before we click, we hit the Control key to make a copy of it. There, and so now there are nice chamfers on both sides. Excuse me. Right, so now we're going to do something else to the top later on, so I'm not going to flip this over yet. Right, so now onto these legs. So I want to create a little chamfer here, and then a kind of cutout on this side. And by the way, you don't have to do these exact shapes. In fact, I might show you how to do quite a different shape. So let's see. We will start by first of all going into this group and then into the second group, and now we're inside the actual object, right? So we can first of all draw this piece here, let's say there, and then secondly you can create this curve, let's say here. Oh, make sure that it's on the face. So there, and then, you know, I don't know, let's say you wanted to cut out another sort of rectangle here. I don't know why you would want to do that, but let's say that that's what you wanted to do, right? So you can do all kinds of things. So for example, let's say I wanted to do this kind of design, right? That could be cool. So we'll push this through like that. So we've got that interesting design there, and then this one here. Right, so now this time, rather than rotating it around, we're going to use a different technique. We're going to delete this one, and we're going to move our object, this half of it, we're going to move it over here to somewhere, hit the control key to make a copy. Right, so now this copy, we want like the mirror image, so we could just flip it over, but a really interesting and powerful technique is to use the scale tool and to scale it by -1. So I'm going to click on here. So this allows me to change the size of it in this one dimension, but I could also even flip it over, and you'll notice that it does snap to -0.1. Sorry, -1. So I'm just going to move over here and just go type in -1 and then press enter, and that way I'm sure that it's correct. Alright, so there we go. That's that bit done, and now we can move it back. Where's my move tool? Yep, so move, and then again take this and move it to there. Right, and so now I've got nice looking legs. Right, okay, so those are some relatively basic ideas. Now I'm going to do something slightly more advanced. I'm going to leave, so one of the things that we might want to do is flatten this off, and that's a little bit tricky, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But the next thing is, which is going to make more of a visual impact, is I'm just going to go in here and delete this, and what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to create a nice rounded over edge here. Right, so you see how that's nicely rounded over? I want to create that. And to do that, we're going to use what's called the Follow Me tool. So we've got this here, we've got this rounded here. So I want to round this over, right? And so what I'm going to do is on the back here, I'm going to go into the object, or into the group, fully into the group like this. And now I'm going to create again a fillet. And let's say, so when you do this, especially if you've already got a curve, you can't make a curve that's the same size or bigger. I'm going to do it quite relatively small, so let's say there. Okay, maybe slightly bigger. There we go. And maybe I'll do the same thing at the bottom, so you can kind of see the technique at work twice. Maybe on the bottom it's going to be a smaller chamfer. Oh no, the number of segments is too large. Control plus minus, so control minus to reduce the number of segments. Oh no, that's not good. Select fillet radius or enter value. Maybe I'll just click here and there, and then hold down control and minus. No, that doesn't work at all. Okay, never mind. So I think I'll just go control plus to bring my actually I'll show you that in fact you can do this with a chamfer as well. So we could go like something like this, right? Maybe that's what's going to happen on the bottom, and oh, that's disappeared, so I've got to get that back. Let me just check to see, yeah, we're still in the right section. There we go. Oh, come on. There we go. Alright, let's hope this works. Okay, so now we're going to use the Follow Me tool, which is here. And what it does is it basically follows a surface like this along a path like this. And so you could start by just selecting the, ooh, that's not good. Don't do that. You could select the top surface, for example, and then you go Follow Me, and then click on this surface here. and it'll create a chamfer. Now, sorry, a fillet. No, notice that the fillet goes all the way around the object, which we don't want. We only want these because we're going to join up the other board to it. So we don't want that. So Control Z. So this time we're just going to select all of these top edges. Let's see if I can do it from far away. Yep. Yep. So like that. And then we're going to go follow me and then click on this surface here. And there we go. So now it's followed all the way around. Right, now let's see if this chamfer works. So again, the same idea. We'll select these surfaces, these edges. All the way to there, and then we will go follow me and then click on this surface here. And there we go. Now what happened around here? Look at that. That's beautiful. Okay. So now to finish that part off, we'll take this whole assembly. I'm just going to explode it actually, because I think there's like a group inside of a group. Explode it again. Yep, so we'll undo that. So now we can take this object and move it somewhere else. Hit Control and again use the same technique. We're going to scale it from here by -1, so -1 like that, and then we're going to move it back into place. Let's see, from this point here we're going to move it all the way into there. Look at that. That is pretty nice. Right, so then so the final thing I'm going to show you. Oh, did I do this to the wrong piece? Well, yes, I did. I did the chamfer to the wrong piece. That's very funny. Oh no, I didn't. But my image has disappeared. So that's interesting. Let me just hide this and see what happened. Oh yeah, so it's still there. So what we'll do is to bring it back. I'm just going to do, this is cheeking a bit. I'm just going to move it in the upward direction. And it's going to move it up by 1 millimeter or 0.5 millimeters, in fact. And that way it's sort of on top. And then we can go back and unhide that other stuff. So unhide all. There we go. Right. Oh, it's disappeared again. How interesting. Hide. Really interesting. Okay, not sure what that's about. Let me just move it all the way up, and then we can move it back down again. We'll move it all the way up there, and then unhide everything again, and then we can move it back down to. Oops. Ah, come on. Oh, not exactly sure how to fix this, to be honest. Just go up by 1. There we go. That'll do. Right, I've run out of time, so I'll show you how to do this thing in class if you like. It's a little bit tricky, but you can just leave that part alone. It doesn't really matter too much. So that is it. That's the whole process. So hopefully you had a good time looking at that. Have a go at it. If you get into trouble, what I would do is work on a copy of your model. That always helps. And otherwise, yeah, it'll be fine. Have fun with it. Make sure that you have a copy of the basic one saved. And there you go. All right. Thanks, everyone. See you.